talk to an LGBT
QIA plus person.
What? Let's begin. Who are you? And what are you? Why are you? And where is it? And how are you? Why? Wow. Thank you so much.
Comment, amen.
Okay. So here's the issue, guys. It's like the problem isn't he's not showing hatred. We just want to ask questions. Like, we want to understand what the rules are. But you asking what the rules are, like what is a woman, what is a biological man? Is there a problem with someone who's XY chromosome boxing in the Olympics and fighting another woman? Is that an issue? You asking the question is now bigoted. Not you being bigoted, not being like, I hate trans people. No one's saying that. We just want to know what the fucking rules are, and just asking the question, you are now a bigot and canceled for doing so. You've misidentified someone. It's like, well, no, where I grew up in Arkansas, where I grew up in Oklahoma, when I saw someone who looks like that, I called her ma'am. But now I'm canceled for that? I was trying to be nice. What the fuck is going on? Now asking the question is a problem. And like, well, you saw him right here. He wasn't trying to act hateful. He's just like, I don't know how to talk to you because I don't know what you are. And me not knowing what should happen. What does the left want you? You should accept what I'm telling you. LGBTQIA plus. Accept that. The fact that you don't accept that makes you bigoted. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Homosexual men are going to leave the LGBT community. They're going to leave it because they're the conservatives of that community. They're like, bro, I can be a lawyer or a doctor. I make millions of dollars. Why are you dragging me into your fucking political bullshit? I'm telling, and you know who else? Bisexual women. Bisexual women, they don't really have it that hard. Nobody's really persecuting them. Nobody, like, raise your hand if you're a bisexual woman. You've been persecuted for being bisexual. The next bisexual woman I've seen that's been persecuted will be the first. Bisexual women are like, I don't really want to be a part of this. I think that's what's going to happen. But as long as they keep them all together, and then all of a sudden, then you're having an issue. Like that's the thing that's going on. So now, just be careful. You guys even ask the question. Now you're in trouble just for asking, what is going on here? Why is this going on? Hey, you want to know something? Here, I'm ready to get canceled right now. There is no reality where it is okay to expose genitalia to underage children, even if you're trans. Let me say that one more time. There is no reality. There is no place for exposing your genitalia to underage children, even if you're trans.
Amen.
Sorry. I'm sorry. No hate towards anybody, but that's not okay. You can cut if you want to go. If you're 18 years old and you want to cut your wiener off, that's fine. Is it a mental disorder? Maybe. I don't fucking know. But one thing I do know is you don't touch my fucking kids. That's it. Just don't touch my fucking kids. That's the only thing I'm saying. And if you have a problem with that and you want to cancel me, then I guess it's worth for me to be canceled. But that one should not be debatable. You should not be exposing genitalia, open genitalia to children. I don't care if it's a pride parade. You saw that video, those police officers in San Francisco, and they're like, isn't it against the law to expose your penis to minors? Is like, well, no, it's okay because it's a pride parade. It's not okay. It's never okay to expose genitalia to underage kids, even if you're trans. There you go. I said it.
There's agreed. And there's no special anything because it's your dude. Like, there's no special treatment. We shouldn't even be having a controversy about arguing about if this person has a Y chromosome. It should be two clear-cut females. Like, if it's high T, you're cheating. If it's a Y chromosome, you're cheating. So either way, it's a cheat. Like, you can't have high T and be having that much testosterone in that category. Either way, it's a cheat. So you know what I mean? Like, you're
making a declaration. That's fine. The problem isn't your declaration. The problem is you're even asking the question, right? And now you're canceled for that. That's the issue. You're asking the question. That's the other thing. It was like, did you guys see the whole situation with the Algerian boxer and the Italian boxer? Yeah. Where they said, well, she was born a woman. Wave your hand. Nothing to see here. She was born a woman. No, she had XY chromosome, an extremely high level of testosterone, and she broke that other boxer's nose. And then what made me even more upset is that the Italian boxer, do you know what she did? She apologized. No, you shouldn't have to apologize. That's not the issue. And again, I'm not, by the way, the Algerian the boxer, it's not her fault that she was born XY. She lives in a country where being trans is illegal. It's not, she was born biologically female, but she went through male puberty. And because of that, I think it's dangerous to have her boxing in a combat sport against men. And that doesn't make me a bigot for thinking that way.
Right.
It doesn't make me a bigot for asking that question. Okay.
We don't care how you identify. Just leave our kids alone.
Yeah.
Don't groom our children.
The kids part is like,
Leave 'em-
the kids part is like,
leave
this
that
is
shit out
what
of
you guys
schools.
saw with,
And
you
everywhere
guys
else.
saw with what's his name? Moist Tactical, is that his name? He took himself off the internet because he had a debate with Sneeko, and Sneeko got him to admit that it's okay for children to choose to change, to have surgery on children who want to change their gender before puberty.
Like
That is
12 years
never okay.
Yeah,
But after what he
People
took
think
himself
that
off.
they like
He took himself off
Miley
YouTube.
Cyrus. You know
Guys,
what I
that
mean?
is
You don't-
never
you don't know
okay.
what you truly like until you can't
Yeah,
make those
thank
rights
you.
until
You're making my
the-
point for me.
you can't
Exactly.
write-
It's
until
crazy.
you're an
My
adult.
masculinity is based in my heterosexuality, but I'm not fully aware of my heterosexuality
Yeah.
until I go through puberty. What is a great way to stop that? Giving me puberty blockers. Again, I cannot vote. I cannot join the military. I cannot smoke a cigarette, drink alcohol, or consume marijuana until I'm 18 years old. So I do not have the right. You want to talk about egalitarianism? The liberals want to say we want things to be fair for everyone. Well, it's not fair because you're an adult. Your brain is fully formed, and they're a child. Their brain is not fully formed, and you're making a decision for them to cut gonads off.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not
Psycho.
egalitarian. They didn't get the opportunity to experience puberty like you did. That's not fair. Again, I'm gonna say this again. My masculinity is based heavily in my heterosexuality. And my heterosexuality, I knew I liked girls when I was 10, but when I was 14, I really fucking liked girls. I knew I really liked girls. And so my heterosexuality, understanding that I enjoy being a straight male, which by the way was not taught to me. It wasn't because of magazines. I'm a heterosexual male because evolution made me that way. Because of that, because of that whole idea, there's no way that you can tell me that I would have been able to understand before puberty whether or not I want to change my gender. I don't have the requisite information. I don't. And because of that, my application to Harvard has been denied.
Yes,
Agreed.
most likely. I'll give
evil.
you my 2 cents here too, and I'll try to do this without like flying off the handle like I did last night because we had this conversation in the Twitter space. What you're seeing with the conflict between the effectively male boxer versus the female boxers, that guy has 99.9% more upper body strength than any female on planet Earth on average. Okay. I mean, unless you're a female bodybuilder, this guy is going to hurt you, and to the point where he's breaking jaws. And what we're seeing is when you do that, when you put that trans male athlete in a women's division, first of all, he's going to dominate that division. It's a foregone conclusion. Second of all, the reason why we're doing this in the first place is because we have this emotional addiction to some idea that we have to in some way placate to this mass psychosis of understanding gender as being separate from biological sex. I will tell you right now, that is the biggest lie that has been sold to the the entire world really, but Western nations since about the mid-70s when we introduced intersectional feminism and humanism and everything, secular humanism and everything, because we want to come up with this idea that identity is subjective and we can all just be whatever we want to. It's the blank slate. It doesn't matter what genitalia you were born with. Everybody can be whatever the hell they want to be. A man can be a woman can be a man. And the only way you get to that is if you separate biological sex from gender identity. And I will tell you right now, the more we discover about the human genome, the more we track the 4 laws of behavioral genetics, the more you'll never hear anything about that. The nature versus nurture debate is over. It's been over since like the mid 90s. Okay. So when we look at this, we can see and extrapolate and pull from there that biological sex is upstream from your gender fucking identity. Just like you said a minute ago, when you're 10 years old, you like girls. When you're 14-year-old, you really like girls because your biology is a heterosexual male. Your identity is highly likely that you're going to be you're going to identify as a heterosexual, red-blooded, testosterone-filled, red-blooded, man, okay? Because gender identity is intimately attached to biology, to biological sex. And the moment we can reconnect those two, all this shit goes away because we're wallowing in this idea of emotionalism versus empiricism. So it feels good to us to go and put a biological man in a women's sport where he's breaking the jaws of female boxers, or it could have been MMA, or it could have been karate, it could have been jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever. Those are Olympic sports as well. We haven't seen the last of this. I'm sure there's going to be other incidents of this in the Olympics. So what you're seeing is this conflict between emotionalism and empiricism. The empirical truth is this guy's a male and he's going to break your jaw in the middle of the ring. But we're going to feel good about it because he can identify and be whatever he wants to, because we still believe in this stupid idea that gender and identity are separate. They are not. They are intimately linked. And we can see, you know how I know they're intimately linked? Because that girl sits down and cries because she's got a broken nose as a result of an ideology that says that these two things are separate, and they are not separate. One ideology is based on emotionalism. The other ideology that they're intimately linked, that's based on physical, objectable, observable realities. So if we can just, it's a curb this fucking high, man. All we have to do is just say, you know what? Let's start thinking in terms of empiricism rather than emotionalism, because emotionalism isn't getting us anywhere. In fact, it's getting a lot of people hurt because we still are pandering to this idea that a woman can be a man and a man can be a woman. That's why when Matt Walsh says, oh, what is a woman? And there's never any concrete answer to that. It's because they would have to reconsider their entire lives and their entire identities that have been based on this bullshit lie. And so now they've got to reconstruct their entire lives, and they're not willing. They don't have the creativity. They don't have the strength of will to even consider something like that. That's why you'll never get a straight answer out of them. So
yeah, again, if you're over the age of 18 and you want to cut your wiener off, go for it. Hey man, I'm not like whatever. Yeah. Like just don't. First off, don't put government funds into it. Mm-hmm. All right, that's all I'm saying. But here's my other issue. Just don't touch our fucking kids. That's all I'm saying. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I get criticized often. Will Hitchens made a video about me saying that because my girlfriend's 22 and I'm 46, that she doesn't have the wherewithal, the mental acuity, because she's barely an adult. Remember, guys, at 22, she's barely an adult and doesn't know what she should be doing. But at 9, he should be able to cut his wiener off. Guys, seriously, if you're progressive and you're hearing this, seriously take a second and say, have you gone too far? Do you really want to stand with your side, your political ideology on something like this? Does this really make sense? And I'm speaking to, again, a lot of my friends are political progressives. 2 of my really good friends are both socialists. And we have this discussion all the time. But it's like when you really, like, again, the idea that parents should be able to choose to change their child's gender before puberty, that is the ultimate. If you believe in a truly egalitarian nature, all of you are going to come to that conclusion. But something as a parent and as a human being should tell you that's wrong. Something internally should tell you that's wrong. Okay. Yes. Something, it doesn't matter what your religion is. Something internally should tell you putting a 9-year-old under the knife like that is wrong. Something should do that. What do you want to say, Jolie?
Sodom and Gomorrah.
There you go. Sodom and Gomorrah. Or I like to say Vegas and Los Angeles. Go ahead.
And I just want to snowball off of what you were saying.
Microphone.
Ooh, crap. Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to snowball off of what you were saying too, because I totally 100% agree. But what I see is it's just a scam off rip, like off the top, before you get into anything. Linguistically, the word gender, it does mean your sex, because the word gender the root word is genes. So it literally the word genes is in the word gender right there. So linguistically, it's already checkmate. Like it goes down to your genes, which are your chromosomes. So your gender is your sex. So period. They're already getting scammed from off the top. So, and what I see as a pattern with like you said, what is a woman? There's a side that keeps taking the flat out definition of things and just throwing it out the window. Like, whoa, where does that come from?
You know,
like,
you want to know where that comes from? It comes from the language of emotionalism versus the language of empiricism. One of the things I tell guys, they go, what can I do? Well, the first thing you can do is stop using the language of emotionalism.
Correct.
And stop using, like they say, oh, you're deliberately misgendering me. Yes. No, actually, I'm not. I'm actually telling you what you actually are.
Words have definitions.
And we have words have meanings, and and just because you want to feel special by changing those doesn't change the definition of that word. That is an empirical reality.
You know what's funny? If you misgender someone who changes their gender, you'll lose your
you have to be, but
you
got to be willing to go to jail.
But if you call Rolo ma'am on there, they're not going to say shit to you. Why not? You misgender Rolo or me? They're not going to say shit. Why? How? Why is it? Because we're cisgendered heterosexual men.
Yes.
We are we're a privileged class. Privileged classes of individuals can never suffer.
Yes.
The only protected classes can suffer. The idea that men suffer is so outside mainstream academic thought. Therefore, if you misgender me or call me names, it's never a problem. Okay. But if you call someone else names who's part of a protected class, then it is a problem. And I'm not pro calling anyone's names, but I am pro the idea of letting anyone say whatever they want and not deplatforming them because they say something you disagree with.
And you're doing them a favor by doing that. And I know that sounds a little kind of like pretentious, but the thing is if you call people like it is and you refuse to use their language and you use our language of empiricism, which is objective reality, this is what I say what you mean and mean what you say, call it like you see it. If you're doing that, you're encouraging them to adopt an objective form of reality because because language can corrupt thought and thought can corrupt language, right? So if we're pandering to this idea that everybody can, be whatever it is that they want and have this subjective reality or subjective identities or subjective gender role identity, whatever the hell it is, the more we start using those languages, the more that the ideology becomes affirmed. And so that's why, like right now, one of my pet peeves is like when I hear husbands and wives refer to each other as their partners. No, you're a fucking husband and you're the wife. And what's funny is like it's funny because like the gay community uses partners, right? And so if I say this is my partner, Mike, my heterosexual business partner, Mike Sartain, yeah, how's it going, bro? Like it's gotten to the point where I have to clarify that if I'm saying that. So, and even the gay community is pissed off because that was their word. That's how they refer to themselves, right? As opposed to husband and wife. It's like my partner this, my partner that, right? Well, the thing is if you're not doing that, if you're using the term partner, you're saying that you're agreeing with the blank slate. You're agreeing with this madness that like a husband can be a husband, and even if you're female, you're my husband and I'm your husband, right? It doesn't matter because that's just how we do it, and that's just and it's appropriate, but it's wrong because it's an incorrect term. Okay, so when we're dealing with empirical reality, when we're dealing with observable facts, factual absolutism, I guess would be a better term for it. And then you're dealing with this emotional, this feels better to me if I call myself this, right? I'm special because I do these things. If you refuse to use their language, you're doing them a favor by dragging them over into a reality where they were better off anyways. So I look at it as doing people a favor rather than pandering to their madness.
I get this question. I get this question all the time because I've hosted like 60 bikini competitions. They're like, Michael, what happens when really unattractive women host try to get in the bikini competition? I'm like, I encourage it because it's the first time in their entire life they've ever faced objective reality.
Yeah, so
That's what.
Yes.
That's actually a good question.
Yeah.
Because I done a lot of bikini contests with you. That's how we met. But so was there a turnaround for like a turn down process?
No, we just let them all go up there. We just let them all go up there and we just let them go up there. And this is the first time they've ever thought, oh yeah, I'm as pretty. Like they look at you and fucking Ambry and Masha and they're like, oh, I'm as pretty as them. And I'm like, we're here to help, honey. We're gonna put you up on stage. We're gonna let you know who's pro men boxing and women's sports. Andrew Wilson. Have you seen Andrew? Andrew is totally pro this because he's like, let them get what they want. Yeah, let them get their ass kicked. Like they're the ones who voted for it.
Aaron Clare is the same way.
Yeah, they're like super
this
in
is
favor.
what you wanted.
It's like for me, I love doing bikini competitions and having women who have no business come up there and do it, and then afterwards be like, this is rigged. Like you think you're as attractive as Kayla Rocket? Like you really think that you're as attractive as Ambry McKee, Masha Diddock? You really think this is true? Like you're Tabby G? Like you're out of your fucking mind. But I don't say that. I'm like, well, sorry, I guess you didn't bring Michelle Martin for some reason. I don't know what happened there. That's so weird. Must be rigged. But it's the first time they've ever dealt with objective reality. And objective reality has so many gifts. And if you want to know about those gifts, just ask any man, because we got to deal with objective reality every day. We're told how much we can't bench. We know how much we can't bench. We know how much money we don't have. And we know which girls don't want to fuck us. We're reminded of it every day. And that fucking those no's that we hear every day, that's the weight that we deadlift every day to become stronger men. And then eventually we become so strong that those women do want to date us. And that money is in our bank account because we dealt with objective reality.
Click the link below and I'll send you my high status networking playbook for free so you can start dating high quality women today.